Well, hello and welcome back. Today, I'm going to be doing something super exciting with you while we chat. I'm going to fold laundry because the kids and I are running low on undies, and I have a to-do list that is about 700 miles long. And this is like a really big deadline week for me. I got a lot of deliverables, a lot of stuff going on. So as a mama who runs a business and has multiple hats on at all times, this is just real life. So I'm gonna take you with me while I fold clothes and also talk to you about how you can know if it's really the right choice for you or the right time to have a baby as a single mom. Now, this is the third time that I've done the intro and I'm sweating. But we're gonna just chill out, okay? I don't know what was happening. There's glitches and stuff, but I don't wanna bore you with my story as, what led me to having a baby on my own. You already know if you've been here for a while. If you happen to be new, there are tons of videos that you can check out on my podcast or on my YouTube channel, and there's enough there for you to really understand my story. I have a 10-year-old and I have a 4-year-old, and it was a scary decision. I'm not gonna lie to you, to become a single mom by choice when I was already a single mom. It was scary, and anyone who says it's not a scary thing is lying, okay? Because becoming a mom is scary. Now, as somebody who, already had a baby or already had a child from a previous, I knew what it meant to be a mom. For the most part, okay? I had been a single mom for a while, so I knew kind of what to expect of motherhood. I'd been through the newborn stage, I'd been through the toddler stage, I had done all of it, but nonetheless, I was terrified because it's a big deal. And when I had my daughter, I was scared, my first baby. What to expect? What is it like? What is pregnancy like? Am I gonna be as big as a freaking house? As a girl who's dealt with weight struggles my entire life, I had all of the questions that I feel like I get from most women. I get so many, how much money do I need to have? Can I be renting? Do I really need to have a house? Because am I gonna be able to afford to put money aside for a home once I already have a baby? Is this kid gonna suck me dry financially? Am I gonna be able to survive? What if I lose my job? What if, I might lose my job, or, I lose my insurance, or my car breaks down and I don't have anyone close by. I don't have family members that are near me. All of the, oh my God, what ifs that we can, get into and just drive ourselves crazy with are honestly valid in a lot of ways, because they're real life things that we have to think about. Will I have help? Will I be able to feed myself and said baby? But I also like to remind people that there's no right time. There's no certain amount of zeros in the bank account that is going to ensure that you and baby are great. You know what I mean? Because there are situations all the time where you hear of even relatively wealthy people that end up losing their money in a bad deal. You hear stories like that all the time. So to think, if I have this certain amount, then I'll be good. Or, if I don't, then we're screwed. There's no way. And that's really not the case. Do I recommend having some money? Of course. If you're in a situation of, you're barely scraping by, kind of between jobs right now, you're in the in-between, but yeah, to think it needs to be a certain amount in the bank account is not actually true. We have this idea that, and I see it in a lot, with mindset stuff and manifestation and all these things, and with almost every single woman that I meet with, we have this idea that once we check off certain things, or once we get to a certain destination, then we'll be okay. Once I'm this certain age, once I'm, this certain body size, or I fit into this certain pair of jeans, then I'll be good. Then I'll be happy. You know what I mean? There's so many things. Or once I've checked off enough European countries off my bucket list, then I'll feel fulfilled and ready, and, life is great for me. And we often outsource that. It's a tomorrow thing. It's a next year thing instead of focusing on what we have going for us right now. So you're in a situation right now where you are doing relatively well, and okay, you have a really good job that's, you know, it's not the dream job, but the likelihood of you suddenly losing your job that you've had for 5 years can change, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to work out for you. Sitting here and just freaking out and planning for something that's not necessarily plannable is just causing stress in your life for nothing. So I'm just giving you permission right now to just chill the F out in the most loving way. Okay, I need people to tell me to chill the F out like frequently. So when I say that to you, I'm saying it with the utmost love and respect. Women, we feel like we have to have it all figured out, and you don't have to have it all figured out, okay? You know, I have programs, you know, I have one-on-ones, you know, I have all these things available to help you not feel like you are spiraling, to help you feel like you have somebody on your side, which you do, who has lived it, is living it, and has been living it for several years, and has worked with many women that are living it and or lived it, just to help you take some of that stress off and that spiral. I can help you bring it down several notches, okay? These things that you think are a big deal, and once we work through them, it's like, okay, it's really not. Like, I'm looking for reasons to freak out. I'm kind of talking myself out of something that I don't really need to be talked out of. Like, I need to just chill. Fact, okay? So some key things that I want you to do if you are debating, is this the right time? Is this really what I want? You know, you're working through the motions of it all. You need to journal a little bit. Even if you're not like a journal girly, like I'm not huge on journaling either. I like a good voice note, okay? Like just open the voice note app just to get the things out, okay? Because again, we have so much going on here. So if you can just get out what motherhood means to you, why is it important to you? Why do you feel called to possibly being a choice mom? And there's no right or wrong answers, okay? But getting it all out can help you then just breathe easier and see it, you know, the bigger picture of it all instead of spiraling. Numero uno is journal on it and then just review it and see the key points in there about why you want to be a mom and why is your desire, or how is your desire different? Not necessarily that you want to have a partner to have a family, how your feelings kind of differentiate where you just really want to have a child. Like, let's categorize the two, you know what I mean? Will you feel like you have a family when you have a kid if you don't have a partner? Like, pick all that apart too, okay? Because again, we all have these narratives that have been passed down forever, right? We're the first generation that's really has these options. So this is like centuries of where you're coming from with this choice. It's a big one. And would you still want to be a mom if a partner was never going to be a part of the equation? Another important one is to write down all your fears. Now that you've, you know, done the voice note or the journaling, figure out where your biggest fears are, or the biggest things that are like really freaking you out and holding you back. And I'll give you an example. Like, I can afford it. Like, fertility is super expensive. There's no way in my current job that I'll be able to afford this. Then I want you to come up with an alternate point of view. Okay. So it could be, I am taking some night classes to be able to qualify for a higher paying job. I'm going to apply within my company for a higher paying position with more responsibility that I actually want to do. Look at it that way. Or, you know, if it's really you're in a position that you love and it pays okay, and that part doesn't really freak you out so much, but you're worried about childcare. Instead of spiraling, like, what about the childcare? You know, like, I know a lot of people get their mom to do it. My mom can't do it. And what am I going to do? And I don't have family close by. And oh my God. And blah, blah. Pause, be brief. Okay. And start doing some research. Nannies in your area, daycares in your area, au pairs in your area, because you'll see, okay, there's options. Okay, this daycare costs whatever. And you can say, okay, when I sit down and crunch the numbers, it's really not so bad. Like, I'll be able to swing this. Like, I was freaking out, and you know what? This is actually kind of doable for me. So what else was freaking me out? Was it the cost of formula? Okay, well, when I sit down and think about it, the amount of formula that a baby drinks, whatever, roughly, you can go and crunch those numbers too and see. You see the studies, like it costs whatever amount of money, $100,000 or something a year to raise a child. Sure, but that's not for formula. Like that is to have a kid in a house, that has running water and electricity and food in its belly. Do the math and you'll stop spiraling, most likely. And listen, if you do the numbers and you're like, wow, like I really can't do this, then it's not the time. But it doesn't mean that you don't have options. I get a lot of people that say like, I'm 32, like I'm done. I'm cooked. If I don't do it now, it's never. And that's not the truth. Okay, there are so many options. Oftentimes we think that women are done at a certain age, and for a lot of us, the fertility window isn't open forever. For all of us, I mean. Fertility is advancing, the fertility space. And when you meet with your doctor, this is like the last thing I'm going to tell you, is meeting with your doctor, a fertility doctor, and doing some of the baseline tests will give you an idea of where you stand, okay? Because it's easy to panic. It's easy to think, I'm running out of time. It's easy to compare. It's easy, all these things, okay? But in reality, you might go to the doctor and the doctor might say, you have all kinds of time. It really depends on your fertility, where you're at right now. So my biggest thing is right now, okay, crunch the numbers and really look at the numbers, really look at what you're dealing with. And the next thing would be to book an appointment with your fertility doctor, meet with them, do some of the baseline tests so you can get a real idea of what you're looking at with your fertility and what kind of timeline you're on. Listen, your decision deserves to be one that you own fully, without fear and without doubt. And it takes work to get there, I know. In doing some of the work that I've talked about today, in joining the SMBC conception formula, having a one-on-one if you're really struggling with what we talked about today and needing a little bit more guidance, or maybe there's other things that are holding you back, can help guide you. You don't have to sit in a Google spiral. You don't have to spiral at all. With that, I invite you to drop some of your fears or doubts below. I think that's it for this week. I wish you nothing but the best. Come back next week. Bye.